everyone, it's Plastic EP here with Daniel Coston. And let me tell you, we got a special VIP guest, Beau Charles, who is in the group, the Knickerbockers, with the biggest worldwide hit, right, called Lies. We are such big fans, aren't we, Daniel?
Yes, we are. I'm really excited about this and really excited to talk to you today.
Now, Beau, I just want to ask you, coming in from Los Angeles, how great is it now when you look back on that hit, and they're playing it everywhere still, and I've got a radio show in the UK, and I'm playing that song nearly every week because it's something out of the box, and it's such a great song that it's right up there with the Beatles. And I mean, you should be so proud of that song.
Well, thank you, Plastic. You know, my brother and I talk about it. We had a moment with that song, and it came off on the record, and I don't even think we realized at the time how good and raw and gritty it was. And it was real. A lot of that happened spontaneously while we were recording. So that made it, now that's what a lot of people respond to about the song. It had just a raw kind of, it was truly us. It wasn't overproduced. It was just, and we were up there standing there just giving it our all. And you can hear it on the record, you know, and it does stand up. You're right. Thank you.
But I'll tell you this, and Daniel, I mean this sincerely.
Mm-hmm.
It rates up there with any Kink song, even the one I got you. It's that high up there. You got to understand, in the UK, as you know, right, they're doing their scene, but you're doing your scene in the US, and that's equal to anything that's come out of the UK at that particular time. You'd agree with that, Daniel.
Sure.
That's how powerful that song is.
Yeah, well, I first learned about the song through the Nuggets box set, the original 72 series. And that was, again,
Sure.
you put this song up there with the Elevators and all the bands that, you know, that turned us on to the great music of the 60s. So I put this song and the Knickerbockers right up there.
I think they were the first people that said, that coined the phrase, at least with our song, it was garage rock, which we never rehearsed in a garage, but that's what I forget what year garage rock came out as a phrase, but it's in the 70s sometime, I think.
Released in 72, and that initial Nuggets collection sold 1 million copies. It was really the first
time.
I
got a gold record for that right there. I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but it's right behind me on the wall. Yeah, we're happy about that. I love that they put that out there, and a lot of groups said that we inspired them, and that always makes us feel good, of course.
Beau, what was it like?
Yeah.
Can you just remember when you actually started writing it with your brother? Just give us a description of that, because nobody would know, only you.
Well, you know, when we wrote that, we were already a band playing, and we were a road group playing covers. We played Beatles songs, we played Zombies, Kinks. That was what you had to play, as you know. And it was the British invasion, full strength. So when we wrote Lies, we were just trying to write something that was similar to what we were hearing on the radio every day. So that's how that really happened. It was inspiring. The Beatles, all those groups were just so inspiring, and it made us want to start to write. That's what the Beatles did. They inspired guys in bands to write songs, which we never really were doing. We were doing covers before that. So that was an important, moment.
Did you, when you wrote that song, did you have the Beatles in mind? Because I know a lot of my friends have always said that, describe Lies as Beatlesque, particularly in the harmonies. Did you have that in mind, or did that just sort of happen?
Well, we wrote the song and we were singing all that British material as a cover band at the time. But someone actually described Lies. It said, it sounded like they put all the British invasion songs in a blender and hit blend, and Lies came out. I always got a kick out of that analysis, but whatever. But we were definitely influenced by the whole thing. And a couple of our earlier records, we did one doo-wop record before that. And then we did like a Four Seasons type. We were so versatile. We played all these groups in our act. We were like a cover band, a very good cover band. We all sang. So the Beatles were, sure. But we weren't trying to sound, to me, the record sounds like our band. I know it's Beatlesque, I guess to a lot of people, sure it is. But to me, I just hear the guys,
Did that single lead you guys to get onto Where the Action Is, or were you already Where the Action Is find you guys before the single was released?
Well, that was when we came to Hollywood. We played on this club in Sunset Strip, and within about 8 weeks, Lies started to break. But before that happened, we were just with a buzz. There was a buzz about us in town when we first hit town. People started talking about us. We were packing this place, and apparently I didn't see him, but my brother John on stage saw Dick Clark come in and sit at the far end of the bar at the back of the club, where he just happened to see him. And he came in to check us out. because even he heard about us. And this was before the record was even climbing the charts, I think. So a lot of people heard us there. And Dick Clark, for one, and all of a sudden he contacted our management, I guess. Yeah, he must have. And then he approached us to be on the show as regulars.
What is that like to have been on TV, through, I know that was a regular, weekday TV show. It was like, to be on for essentially you guys were on that for 2 years.
Yeah. Well, the first thing we did with Dick Clark was American Bandstand. And we were like, oh my God, we're on American Bandstand. That was like, if you know, a big show for music and the whole bit. So, okay. So where the action was it was, a lot of it was get there at 8 a.m. and they slapped a lot of makeup on you. And then you lip sync. It was a lip sync show. But we did all the recording. We were in the studio, worked with Armin Steiner, who was a great engineer. You might have heard of him. Yes. We did all the pre-recording in the studio. So it was pretty good sounding. And we could knock it off fast. We were very quick. So then we lip synced it during the show with all the kids running around, It was a silly show, but a lot of people loved it, Go ahead.
Royal Teens have got a big influence on your band because, as I said, you got your lead singer from them. I also know Tom Austin, that was the drummer from the Royal Teens, and also Bob, who went to the Four Seasons. He came out of the Royal Teens, so that's unbelievable there, isn't it?
Yeah, Bob Gaudio. Yeah, he was from our hometown also, but Buddy Randell, who was with the Royal Teens when he was 16. He co-wrote that song with Bob Gaudio and Tom Austin, and I think I can't think of the other guy's name, but there were 4 writers on that song. But anyway, yeah, Buddy was with that band at 16 and played the sax and everything. Short Shorts, right? It was a big hit in '58.
Yeah,
Buddy
that song
16.
Short Shorts was even covered by Freddie and the Dreamers. That was a big hit in the UK.
I didn't know that Freddie and the Dreamers did Short Shorts, but
that was their biggest hit. You got to go on YouTube and see them doing Short Shorts. They do the greatest version right there.
I didn't know that. I will check it out.
Who wears short shorts? We wear short shorts. Who wears short shorts? We wear short shorts. Yeah. Who wears short shorts? We wear short shorts.
Speaking of Freddie and the Dreamers, you ended up appearing in a movie with them in '66. Yeah. Yes.
Out of sight. The guy came into the club. Another good thing about coming to California was a lot of people saw us. And this guy approached us because he saw us performing at the Red Velvet Club, that's our first gig out here. And he wanted us to be in the movie before Lies was a hit, which was weird, but we said sure. And we had to do one of their songs. So the only trouble was we couldn't do Lies in the movie. We had to do It's Not Unusual, which was in their catalog of music. I think they wanted to keep the music in-house, so to speak. They make more profit that way. So we did the song. We did the song in our act, and then they approached us, and we went and did the movie one day in a typical beach shack with the kids. And you may have seen the clip. It was a fun day. They put makeup all on our arms, and we never did a movie before, so it was kind of an experience. Everything that happened out here was really a first time for us. We were kind of like, wow,
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone. With anyone, it's not unusual to see me cry. I wanna die. It's not unusual to go out at any time. But when I see you out and about, it's such a crime. You should ever wanna be loved by anyone. It's not unusual. It happens every day. No matter what you say, you'll find it happens all the time. Love will never do what you want to do. Why can't this crazy love be mine?
that movie. And what's his name? And the Playboys, Gary Lewis and the
Gary
Playboys
Lewis.
was in the movie. You had the Turtles in the movie. Right, unbelievable with the cars at the start. As I said, I've got the movie. That movie is fantastic for anyone who hasn't seen it. Go on YouTube and see it. That is a classic of its time, and that's immortalized yourselves as well.
Well, it's nice. That's the one thing about, you get a hit record, it opens doors, and all of a sudden somebody wants you to be in a movie, or then we cut soundtracks for a couple of movies they ran for their lives. We cut the title song, the pad and how to use it. We did the title song. So the offers come in, and that's beautiful, of course.
How quickly after Lies did you write One Track Mind? Were you guys already thinking for the next single?
Actually, we didn't write One Track Mind. That was Linda Colley and Keith Colley. They were a husband and wife team, and he was, I think, a staff writer at 4-Star, and he submitted the song, and we all liked it. So we didn't want that for the second release, but they did, and it came off pretty good. A lot of people really loved One Track Mind, but we didn't write it, but we gave it the Knickerbocker treatment.
I got to say that song is actually underrated. That song is bigger than what it actually is. I listened to the song, and after the first hearing, I thought, this is fantastic. This is great.
Somebody help me, please, I can't forget about her. I've got a one-track mind. Maybe I'm a stubborn fool. Somebody please tell me what to do. Don't try to tell me some girl will be taking her place. I close my eyes and all I visualize is her face. I've got a one-track mind. I won't believe that girl is gone. Somebody please tell me I'm not wrong. I can see her by my side, but the more I stare, makes me want to run and hide when I find she's not there.
You got a massive hit, then you do another hit, but unfortunately at the time it doesn't get as big as it does until later down the track. That happens all the time. Most of the famous people work all their life, make a catalogue, and then something happens, and then they're discovered. This is how it works sometimes. But Lies has opened up all the doors for everything, and you deserve every credit you should get in 2022. And I mean that sincerely, because anybody that knows anything about music knows that that is a fantastic song that's never coming back, and it's immortalized there in pop culture forever.
Thanks, Plastic. We're always hoping for another person to cover the song and do a great version of it. Because, as a songwriter, it's a compliment. And we've had Linda Ronstadt cover that, Nancy Sinatra, Gary Lewis did it. The Ventures, who I'm a guitar fan, they even covered Lies. So I'm always hoping that somebody really does a great new version. Would be great. Of course.
I ask about, I believe, and
sure,
correct me if you guys didn't write it, is the first video I ever saw of the Knickerbockers was you doing Just One Girl on.
Well, I wrote that.
Yes,
I wrote that one.
That's a great song.
Thank you. It was, who's playing guitar with me on that was we worked with a lot of the Wrecking Crew guys, We didn't use him too much, but he played rhythm on this. I did the solo. I wrote the song, but James Burton, who you probably know of, with Ricky Nelson, Elvis, he's in the Hall of Fame of musicians. But he was playing that song with us, and he just jumped in. He was fine, great player. But the song is very frantic, and I think he was kind of like, "Wow, how fast are we going to?" Anyway, but I'm glad you like the song. It's one of my favorites, really is.
I don't want 5 girls on a string. I could never keep them all wondering. I'm old-fashioned, yes I've always been. I just feel that one girl's enough for me. Just one girl, made for me. Just one girl. Where is she? My visitors are running now, looking for the face of the crowd. Just one girl, for me. Why can't I find her? It's just not fair. I will love her. She's just not there. Just one girl, made for me. Just one girl, where is she? My visitors are running now, looking for the face of the crowd. Just one girl, for me. Why can't I find her? It's just not fair. I will love her. She's just not there. Just one girl, gotta find that just one girl. Keep on looking for the just one girl. Oh, just one girl. Just one girl. Just one girl.
I got to also say in the video clip, because I've seen you guys, all right, and I'm telling you, you are a standout on the right-hand side playing guitar. To me, you
Yeah, playing
actually
that
stand out more than the group. That's how I saw when I saw this new clip yesterday. That's an old one that's on really good, as I say, it's like high res. It's very clear, that film clip, and you just stand out doing your part, unbelievable on one side, and your brothers
you.
on the other side. I mean, this is
Well, we
what
did-
makes a band, one that stands out. It's not only the lead singer, it's the whole band getting together to create that sound and go boom out to the world. That's what you did.
Thank you. The TV, we did so much television. We never did TV before we got to California. And then all of a sudden we were on TV shows. It seemed like every 2 or 3 days we're doing, because there were a lot of local TV shows here. There were Shindig and Hullabaloo and 9th Street West, Hollywood to Go. These are all local TV shows with bands and people dancing. So we did TV, and of course, Dick Clark, American Master. So we became like TV veterans in about 2 months. We've done 10, 15 TV shows. Casey Kasem had a TV show. It was just on and on. I mean, it was fun. Whatever.
Lies, lies, you're telling me that you'll be true. Lies, lies, that's all I ever get from you. Cheers, cheers, I shed a million tears for you. Cheers, cheers, and now you're loving someone new. Someday I'm gonna be happy, but I don't know when just now. Lies, lies, breaking my heart. You think that you're such a smart girl, and I'll believe what you say. But who do you think you are, girl, to lead me on this way? Hey, lies, lies, I can't believe a word you say. Lies, lies, are gonna make you sad someday. Someday you're gonna be such a smart girl, and I'll believe what you say. But who do you think you are, girl, to lead me on this way? Hey, lies, lies, yeah, baby. I can't believe a word you say. Lies, lies are gonna make you sad someday. Someday you're gonna be lonely, but you won't find me around. Lies, lies, breaking my heart. Oh, said I, baby, now breaking my heart. Oh, they're just breaking my heart. Breaking my heart, yeah.
Well, what were some of the other bands that you played with that you really enjoyed? Did you guys do on longer tours, or were you kind of doing more, select dates?
We did
during
some
that time?
solo tours just with us when we went out by ourselves and had a nice little itinerary. But the biggest tours we did were 2 for Dick Clark,
Mhm.
and they were with some great acts. We had the Rascals on one. We had the Raiders, Paul Revere and the Raiders, the Young Rascals. We had Gary Lewis and Playboys, had the Critters. Then we had B.J. Thomas, who passed recently. A nice guy. He became a friend. I felt bad when he passed. And then Billy Joe Royal, a couple of the Shades of Blue. But we crossed paths with other groups while we were touring. We'd run the Dave Clark 5 or just performing where we were about to perform. It was a great era. And we did cross paths with so many,
Wow. I'd love to have seen that tour. I'm a big Critters fan, so I would love to have seen that.
Oh yeah, they were good, nice guys. I know. I think one of them. I just read about one of the Critters. Didn't he go on to do something with somebody else?
Four Seasons, Don Chacon. Yeah, actually.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. You're right.
Yeah.
That's the name. I just read that. Yeah, and they were great. And boy, he could sing.
Yeah, it was a.
They were good. That lead singer, I think, is just that.
You're
talking about Don.
Yeah, and he wrote and sang the Mr. Dyingly Sad, which was like their second hit. Yeah, really good song.
Yeah, oh yeah, they were great. Anyway, it was a lot of talent, a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs. A tour is, always doing pranks and just laughing and enjoying. I mean, the Rascals knocked us out. They were they're a group like from the East, just like we were. So they played with a lot of, they had a lot of chops. They were very good and exciting. So we admired them a lot.
I interviewed Joey D.
Sure.
Peppermint Twist, and 3 of the Rascals played in his backing band, right?
Yes, that's true.
I did that interview, but I also want to say, Beau, with your musical knowledge and your life story and everything, have you ever thought about writing a personal book about your experiences? I think it would be riveting if you get a ghostwriter or someone to help you to write a book.
Yes.
Write a book in digital form as well as in paperback if you want to do that. But I'm just saying your stories would be unbelievable from your point of view, because you wrote the hit Lies. You and your brother organized the band, and you met all these people on tour, and you went and did these TV shows. And I think your experiences have to come down to a book. Would you agree with that?
Well, it's funny you said it, because once in a while my wife and I say, you should write this stuff down. I would need a ghost writer like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Of course. But, we have a lot of stories and a lot of great things happened. And it was exciting and also kind of, X-rated here and there. No, not really. But it was a fun era. And if I could collect all those thoughts, I better before I forget them. But it has crossed my mind, Plastic. It has. So
what
who
I'm
knows?
suggesting
Maybe so.
to you, Beau, is you record it.
Mhm.
You record it on a digital device, right? And then what happens is you get a ghostwriter or someone. Maybe
Yes.
maybe Daniel can come up with a suggestion of someone. You never know, because he knows quite a few people. And what I'm saying is, if you put even out a digital book, right? That's
Sure.
one way. But they've also got a new thing now where all over the world, once you've done a book, they actually print the book as the order comes through. You've heard about that, Daniel? I got that site. So in other words,
Yeah, I've
they
heard about
organize everything from all over the world to make it easier for you. That's how they do it now.
It's funny. I just did an interview with a guy that's writing a book about the Beatles. It's called the 10. It's the Beatles 10 Beatles something list, and he's got a bunch of people like myself, musicians, actors, athletes, and they're giving their 10 best Beatle experiences. So I did a few things, like I sang on the song Photo Ringo. I was just a session singer. That was one of my. But anyway, it was called the 10. I can't think of the 10.
I think it's Charles
top 10 Beatle
Rosenate,
list.
our good friend Charles Rosenate. Now, Beau, when you look there in 2022, right, you've got a catalogue of songs, you got your band's history, you've got like this story, which to me is unreal. How great is it now in 2022? And do you have any links or anything of your music, or people can find you on the net?
Well, the main thing is Sunday's Music. Sundays, you've heard of them probably. They're a great reissue label. They reissued all our everything we ever cut. They just did a box set a few years back. It's got 4 discs, a CD. Yeah, wow. They've really reinvigorated our catalog. He digitally remastered, etc. But it's Sunday's Music. If they want to find some stuff by us, sure. And what was your other question? I forget. What was the other part? I forget what you asked.
I was going to say, if they can find you anywhere else on the net, do you have a Facebook page or anything like that?
No, I'm not on. Well, I'm on Facebook, but I don't have like a real Knickerbocker website. No, haven't done that.
Okay, quickly,
maybe I should.
Since you brought it, I want to ask about working with Ringo Starr. That was something I didn't know about.
Well, I was after the Knickerbockers all cooled off, I got into some session work in Los Angeles and got to meet like a lot of great wrecking crew people, but also the singers in town were these great singers that you hear in movies, and they chorus, they sing backgrounds on all the big records. But anyway, I fell in with some of them, and they just called one day and said we need 25 singers, and we sang on just a big long note on Ringo's. He wasn't there, which I would have loved to meet him. Richard Perry was the producer. This was in '73, and we just went there. Me and 20 other singers. I knew a lot of them. They were all top of the line singers, town, and we just sang photograph. It was but it was fun that we were on a Ringo song. I just mentioned that to somebody that I sang on that. Anyway, I wish I would have met him, but I did see him at another party. There was a launch for Rocket Records in 74 maybe. And he walked in. It was Elton John. I don't know if you remember Rocket Records.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Kiki D and so forth. But so Ringo just appeared, and we with a few people. He just walked in, and it was an outdoor big wild party outside, and everyone went, "Oh my God, it's Ringo!" And we just looked at him. And then he went to where Elton was, I think, and we just watched him. And then all of a sudden he disappeared and whatever. But when you saw a Beatle, it was like, that was a big deal. The Beatles they're still like that,
The guitar you played with the Knickerbockers, and have you still got the guitar?
Well, I had that Rickenbacker, which I wish I kept, but I didn't. But it was a great guitar. That's what I used on the Lies album, on the Lies song. Plus, I have the amplifier I still have. It's a little Champion amp that you turn it up. It sounds real dirty and gritty, and that's I still have it. And what's how I got the sound on that record.
Can I ask you what model Rickenbacker was for those guitar freaks?
Well, it's the 360, wasn't it?
365?
Yeah. Wow. You're talking about, I bought it in New York City and so geez, I don't remember, but it was a 6-string, obviously. It was the blonde one. It was really pretty. You could see it in the early videos, but I think it's the 360. I had this 12-string too. I bought a 12-string just like it. That was I don't even remember that model, but I should, but I don't. Oh, you play guitar?
Yeah, a little bit. Not as good as you, but
Oh, you might. Who knows? But yeah. Anyway, yeah, I have several guitars now. I just wish I didn't ever part with any of them, because now they're that guitar is probably worth, I don't even know, a lot of money now. Everything, the instruments just are worth a fortune in some cases.
I want to ask you about and Lodi being on Motown Records in the early 70s.
Sorry, what? Yeah.
I want to ask you about being on Motown Records in the early 70s.
Well, it was, we ran into a guy named Bob West who co-wrote I'll Be There for the Jackson 5. He was a writer, and now he wants to produce, and he was drumming up a producing gig at Mo West, and he co-wrote I'll Be There. And he was a fine studio bass player, Bob West. He played the bass on I'll Be There. Check it out sometime. It's very good. Anyway, we bumped into him at a studio, and he was looking for a group to produce. He said, we have a group. And then we made a tape on a Revox tape recorder, me and the 3 guys, my brother, 2 other guys. and we made about 4 or 5 song demo tape, gave it to him. He brought it to the powers that be. And then all of a sudden we got a contract and we recorded 1 album. Some of the stuff was good. It just, but what happened was all the powers that be, so to speak, somebody came in and cleaned house at Mo West, it was called. It was the Motown version of Mo West. And all of a sudden, all the people that were into our project were gone. And it was one of those things. And it all kind of went, and Bob West kind of had a big argument with somebody. Anyway, the whole thing just died really on the vine. And they never even released the album till, I don't know, 2 years later or more. So it was a good opportunity. We sat with Berry Gordy. He actually had people standing around with yellow pads writing things down because he was really going to make us happen, because we were like a good group, and he wanted us to be like a white Jackson 5 or something. He was hoping for a white group, I guess, besides the Jackson 5, to make it big. But he was into us, and then it just, it's one of those things. It's a typical story in the record business. It's up, it's going, and then it just goes. You've heard it before, I'm sure.
I just want you to know, Beau, Plastic EP, and Daniel Coston, and the rest of the world want to thank you for your contribution in the musical pop culture that you've done with the song Lies with the Knickerbockers. And I want you to know that you really are a musical legend, and we salute you, because I'm just telling you, that's how much praise I've got for you. You're right up there, as I said, with the Kinks, with anybody out there, even the Beatles, right? In your time with the song Lies, and it's a classic that's going to live on forever. And we thank you so much for that song.
Thank you, Plastic.
Agree, Daniel?
Yes.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Beau.